Hi, mini shifters. Welcome to day 2 of the Mini Shift 10-day fitness challenge. It's really a fitness and mindset challenge, isn't it? Because that's what this is about. To stay consistent with fitness requires a certain mindset. To stay consistent with fitness requires requires the mindset of realizing you're not always going to feel like it, and you can do it even when you don't feel like it. And when you do it, when you do move your body, even when you don't feel like it, you start to feel really good. You start to trust yourself. You start to build some self-confidence, not from the movement, but from knowing that you kept your word to yourself and you did what you said you're going to do. I don't know how you're feeling today. Let me know. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Are you motivated today in a way that you weren't yesterday? Are you less motivated today? Is it feeling like, oh, it's already starting to feel kind of normal, or oh, it's not feeling like enough? I don't know if I can do it again. Look, all of that is perfectly normal. There's no right and wrong way to feel, but in order to build consistency with a practice, what you have to start practicing is doing it even when you don't feel like it. So for today, it's a minimum of 5 minutes of movement. You can do more if you want. Up to 15 minutes would be great. More than 15 minutes is outstanding, not required, but a minimum of 5 minutes is required. Are you stretching? Are you dancing? Are you walking? Did you take the clothes off that Peloton and use it? Whatever it is that you're doing, go do it for 5 minutes today. And what I'm really interested in is, did you practice that little mindset shift we were talking about yesterday? When you have a negative thought about yourself, about what you're doing, about what's possible, did you pull that thought out of your mind, or did you catch it and replace it, put that new thought on top? Now, I've heard from a couple of people who are like, this feels hard. No, the practice itself is not hard. What's hard is you telling yourself it's not working, it can't work, what's the point? It's all of that resistance to it that's what's making it feel hard. It's actually very simple. It's as simple as this, and I do this a lot with the teen girls that I coach. A lot of them, and probably a lot of you, will look in the mirror and say something negative about themselves. The very simple is, oh, I'm ugly. I'm too fat, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too skinny, my hair, whatever it is. You know how I explain it? I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain it using the analogy of a garden. This might make it a little simpler for you. If you think of your mind like a garden, and you should, because your mind works exactly like a garden, what you plant in the garden and what you nurture in the garden is what grows. So if these are the thoughts that have been growing in your garden, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I can't do it, everyone hates me, everyone's laughing at me, I'm not good enough, or whatever it is. This is what's growing because these are the thoughts you allow. This is what you nurture. You just allow these thoughts to come up and come up. Don't tell me they're true. Don't tell me, no, I am ugly. No, I can't do it. No, I tried and I failed. Thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are just thoughts. They only become facts when you let those thoughts control what you do. You start living those thoughts. They become facts. They're not facts. And if you think of your mind as a garden, I want you to think of those nasty thoughts as like rotten tomatoes in your garden. It's like you have this garden of tomatoes growing and you don't even realize it. And I use tomatoes for a reason. You know why I use tomatoes in this analogy? Have you ever tried to grow tomatoes? I have. You know what I did with them? I planted them and then I just left them. I didn't do shit to them the whole summer. And you know what I had at the end of the summer? A whole bunch of tomatoes. Sorry. My hat's getting dislodged. I had a whole bunch of tomatoes. You don't have to do much with your nasty thoughts. You put them in there and they just grow. Remember that line from Pretty Woman all those years ago where she said the bad thoughts are easier to believe? Those are the tomatoes, but they don't have to keep growing there. So when you catch a tomato in the garden of your mind, I'm ugly, I can't, it's too late, it'll never change, who cares, all that negative stuff. I want you to think of that as a tomato that's growing in your garden. And if you had an actual garden and you didn't want tomatoes in it, what would you do when you saw that tomato? You'd pull it up. You can't stay here. You'd pull that shit out right by the roots. I want you to think of doing that in your mind. You are not allowed to stay here. You are getting pulled out. I want strawberries. I want a strawberry. I don't want a tomato garden. I want a strawberry garden. Great. When you catch a tomato, you pull it out. But if you want a strawberry garden, what's the next thing you have to do? You have to plant some strawberry seeds. Now notice I said plant strawberry seeds. I didn't say plant strawberries. That's not how this works. It's not how a garden works, and it's not how your mind works. We're planting seeds. So for example, if the thought is I'm ugly, you plant what you want to grow. So in you insert, you plant the new thought. What is that for you? I'm beautiful, I'm pretty, I'm cute. Maybe it's I can do this. Maybe it's I'm strong. Maybe it's I'm capable. Maybe it's I'm loved. Whatever it is, you have to put that seed in the garden of your mind. Now, just like an actual garden, if you were to pull out a tomato today on January 3rd, and plant a strawberry seed on January 3rd. On January 4th, are you going to have a strawberry garden? No. On January 5th, are you going to have a strawberry garden? No. But if on January 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th, you continue, every time you catch tomatoes growing in your garden, you pull them out and you plant strawberry seeds. And we'll get to this tomorrow, you nurture those seeds, you water them, you make sure they get some sunlight. I don't know. By January 10th, you're not going to have a strawberry garden, but by the end of January, by February, by March, what's going on in that garden? You still have all those tomatoes growing? Of course not. Some strawberries are starting to come up. It is exactly the same in your mind. Your mind works exactly the same. What you plant and nurture is what grows. If you let it go, it'll just keep giving you those rotten tomatoes. But if you spend some time and intention on creating and nurturing new thoughts, I promise you will grow a new garden in your mind. And you know what? You don't have to trust me. You can do one or both of two things. You can practice this and you can look it up. What I am talking about, the brain science and neuroscience I'm talking about, is real. I didn't invent this. I have studied this, and then I've done it with clients for the last, we're getting into 6 years now of full-time coaching. I have coached thousands and thousands of girls through this, and I know that you can do it. I see the results. I don't even have to read the studies anymore. I have been running these studies for 5+ like I said, almost 6. It'll be 6 years in March. 6 years I've been running this study for myself, seeing how it works. I know that it works, but it only works if you practice. If you had an actual garden and on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you ripped out some tomatoes, you planted some strawberry seeds, and on Wednesday, you saw some tomatoes, and you were like, oh, this doesn't work. Is that the case? Is it the case that it actually doesn't work? Or is it the case that this takes time and it takes intention? Your life is worth that time. How you think about yourself is worth giving that intention and attention to. You are worth it. You are worth knowing that you are capable and strong and beautiful and loved, because you are. And this practice of building consistency with your fitness isn't really going to work if you don't also build some consistency with how you talk to yourself about your fitness, about your life, about what you can do, about what you are worth. That's why this is not just a fitness challenge. It is also a mindset challenge. And I want you to be practicing both. Not for me. I've done my mindset work. I do it every day. But for you, because I want your life to be fucking amazing. So get in your 5 minutes of movement today. Start nurturing a new garden in your mind. Now look, remember this, just because you pull out a tomato and you plant some strawberry seeds in the garden of your mind doesn't mean there aren't other tomatoes going to come up. They're going to come up. Remember what I said about my actual garden and why I use these particular plants as an analogy? Because tomatoes will just grow. I don't want you to worry about how often and how much and how many tomatoes are coming up. Every time they do, you just be gentle with yourself. You plant in the thought you want to believe, not the thought you actually believe. That's the first subconscious thought that came up. I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I can't, who cares? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those thoughts are going to come up. We're not going to worry about, they're coming up, they're just coming up, fine. But we're not going to let them sit there unchallenged. For today, I want you to continue practicing those new thoughts. Let's keep practicing. Let's keep practicing for 10 days and see what happens. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how you nurture those thoughts. Remember, it's not just about putting them in. You can't just plant seeds in the ground and hope they grow. They need some water, they need some sunlight, they need some fertilizer. We'll talk about that tomorrow. For today, just start replacing all those tomato thoughts and plant some strawberry seeds for yourself because you deserve it. Minimum 5 minutes of movement. Start thinking nicer about yourself. Let me know in the comments how it's going.